Hey guys, today I take you with me through a front lever session, how I train it at the moment, and sharing some insights. I start with a classic static hold, which I simply will do now. Here I always do only one set, which you've seen now. The reason is that I focus mostly on dynamic training, dynamic front lever training at the moment. The reason why I do one hold is simply to see, okay, am I still able to have a good hold time? Do I not lose the hold time? And therefore one set is enough. This one set I don't push to the maximum. I keep like 2 seconds in reserve, so could have held it longer, simply to not burn out too quickly and be fit for the upcoming exercises. I want to add some technical things, what I focus on, etc, etc. So this one set of the static hold I always do on the high bar, simply as it transfers better to later on combinations. Also my second exercise, the front halfway raises, are only possible on the high bar. What I focus on when I go into the hold is, I can demonstrate that maybe with the help of the bar, that I imagine that I want to break the bar into 2 pieces, which is actually not possible, but simply the imagination helps. Next is I try to push the bar down, like I'm doing a pullover. Additionally, what helps is to actually bring the shoulder down, which is, to be honest, already the case when you do this cue, which I mentioned before. In terms of my core area, I imagine that I push my belly button towards my lower back, like that. I feel like, okay, with my belly button I can touch my lower back in my mind. That helps me. Additionally, trying to point the feet also create some minimum tension at the lower body, which is necessary as well. One other thing I do a bit is pushing the hip slightly upwards, as well as the chest slightly upwards, simply as otherwise often the body naturally loves to lose those positions, like to flex the hips too much or to roll the shoulders forward, and that simply I try to counter work a tiny bit. After the static hold, I move on with the dynamic part. Here I do half lever raises with 1 second pause, which at first I will demonstrate. Here I always do 6 reps at the moment and 3 sets. Typically I don't do it like that I do 6 reps and then pause and then do the next. I rather split it throughout the day at the moment. So for example, I do it the morning, 1 set, evening, and maybe a little later another one. Those 6 reps are with a high buffer, means I could probably do here 9 or so. haven't tested. And I increase either the reps from week to week. So for example, next week I would do 7, or I increase the weight. Once I get too high with the reps, like typically once I reach 6 or 7, I add more weight and restart with like 3 or 4 repetitions. The reason why I train that way at the moment is simply as I know it works. I've done it in the past for myself, for other athletes, but mainly here what counts is my personal experience on myself is that it has always worked in the past. Additionally, at the moment, it really fits into my routine. Because currently I'm often short in time, and here I need around 15 minutes a day for this whole thing. And that's super time efficient. Due to the reason I work with high buffers, I do it every day, except typically one rest day. So I do it every day, except the last day. Before the rest day, I go harder. I go harder at this one, and the second exercise, which is pull-ups, there I also go a little harder. And then after the rest day, kind of a new week starts with mostly increased weights or increased difficulties. After I did one set of the halfway Frontlever raises, I directly move on to the pull-ups. So it's always like, okay, I rest 2 minutes and then do the pull-ups for one set, and that's it. So I do one set halfway, one set pull-ups, and this I do 3 times a day. Also here for the pull-ups, I'm using a low weight. I first again show how it looks like. It's pretty much the same principle. I do 6 repetitions, but with a very high buffer. Like every day, same principle. In the last day, before that one rest day, I go way harder. So here, for example, I used 21.25 kg. Did 6 reps, could probably do 12 to 15 maybe if I go all out. Not sure, haven't tested. And on that max day, or that day I go harder, not max, I probably use 45 at the moment. I have to see this week. Always has worked very successfully for me. The reason why I have here this high frequency is also as I had a technique change where this high frequency does make even more sense. So I'll show you the difference and tell you why I do the pull-ups the way I do them. Like you have seen at the pull-ups I did now, I work a lot in that sagittal plane, okay? Instead of, often you see pull-ups done like that we have an adduction. We bring the arm towards us instead of to bring the arm, that we move more in this direction, in the sagittal plane, instead of the horizontal plane. My recommendation is clearly to stay in that sagittal plane, especially if the goal is to have a better carryover to the front lever. Because when we look at the front lever, it's more shoulder extension and not so this like adduction based movement. When we do it like this, like wide, with more target here, the upper lats and the teres. That's why often you see people having this wide or this huge teres. There is nothing wrong about it. And for example, if your only goal is build upper lats for bodybuilding reasons, build this part here more, then definitely this can make sense. So always ask yourself, what's the idea behind it? Why I'm doing it the way I do it? There is no black and white here. But for that reason, and also to recruit the most lat fibers in total, rather try to do the technique I've just shown. Also, an advantage, what I noticed personally, I feel my lats so much more. And it takes some time to change it. I'm still in that process. Like you've seen at the ones I just shown, it was not perfect, not at all. But I'm on the way, I'm on the right way. I definitely feel it, and I feel my lats way more. So yeah, that's pretty much it